It's about that time of day again here, boys and girls. 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Monday through Thursday. My name is Joseph James. SidewaysMarkets.com is our trading blog. SchoolOfTrade.com is the web address. Welcome back to our nightly newsletter for the 23rd day of the 6th month of the year 2014. Guys, happy summer solstice out there over the weekend. Had the longest day of the year, or as I like to say, what should have been my birthday, right? For all those optimists out there, you guys had hopefully your favorite day of the year over the weekend. So hope you're enjoying those extended daylight hours, unless of course you're below the equator, and of course you have your shortest day of the year right now. So plenty of time to stay inside and look at some charts with me, right? In tonight's newsletter, we get a great, exciting, jam-packed newsletter for you this evening. 3 things today. First, we'll talk about what happened today in the markets. Second, we'll talk about the news that we have in store for tomorrow. And then third, we're going to roll up our sleeves, grab some charts, and take a look at what we have for trading strategies tomorrow. By the end of today's newsletter, you are going to be ready to capitalize on whatever comes your way tomorrow in gold, crude oil, and of course the old mighty mini Russell. Gold traded sideways today, clearly still waiting on something. Russell tried to go higher, right? We saw the Russell try to go higher today. It failed and finished at the lows. And crude oil, very interesting over the weekend. We saw a big jump up over the weekend, and then sure enough, look out below, tumbled right back down to 106. But is this just a pullback? Is the Russell and crude, are they just pulling back, or are we ready for a full-blown reversal? That's going to be on our radar here this evening. Welcome to our nightly newsletter. Just jump right in here. Before we open up the charts today and take a look at what happened today, I want to remind you guys, get over to SidewaysMarkets.com. If you're not watching this video on our blog right now, if you're on our YouTube page or anywhere else, make sure you get over to SidewaysMarkets.com, and you can do that by clicking on the link below the video in the YouTube page, right? So if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link below the video on the YouTube page. Get yourself over to Sideways Markets for 3 specific reasons. Reason number 1, right below the video tonight, there's a link right here. Download all of my charts for today. There's a reason why I take the time out of my evening to put those charts on SlideShare. That's why it's so all my students can have it for tomorrow. And if you're not a student, I want you to pause the video right now, get those charts downloaded. That way you've got them handy for tomorrow. All right? I want you guys to use those. Second thing is, upper left-hand corner. You might be wondering how we profit from all of these great setups that we talk about every night in our newsletter. I would love to show it to you in real time tomorrow afternoon. I have a special free pass for anyone who's not a member and would like to see more of what being a member looks like and what it feels like to be a part of our trade room. Take me up on that offer, guys. You're going to learn more in our free pass in a few hours than you will studying all kinds of YouTube videos this weekend, all right? Trust me on that. Last but not least here, lower left-hand corner, just above my ugly mug, I want your name and your email address. I'll send you the newsletter every evening delivered straight to your inbox. No more waiting around to see if the blog post was up. No more checking YouTube. Give me your name and your email address, and I'll make sure to send you every evening a copy of my nightly newsletter. That way you are ready for everything the following day. All righty? You ready to rock and roll? Summer solstice just around, right? Just in the rear view mirror. Nice long days. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I got my helmet on. I got my mouth guard in. My hands are on the wheel. Did you stretch? I hope you did. We get a busy one here for you tonight. Let's rock and roll. First of all, what happened today? Crude oil. Now, this chart looks great, but just wait until you see a couple of the anchor charts I'm going to show you. It's one of those, right? Get hit by the ugly stick. This chart doesn't look so bad, though. What happened today? Well, you know, we still got this issue with Iraq. We still got these lingering. I always kind of chuckle a little bit every time Obama comes back on and says, "Now we're going to give you more sanctions, right, Russia?" Right, as if Putin really he appears to really care about that. It's kind of funny at this point. It's like that kid back in grade school, right, that didn't care about the discipline and was like, "Sure, put me in detention the rest of the year. Sounds good. I'm still going to do whatever the hell I want. So we still have all of this stuff, all right? All this stuff out there. We got Iraq, we got Ukraine, right? It depends on what news channel you turn to right now, but things can be getting better, getting worse. It's very difficult to keep up with this soap opera. So what I teach all of my clients to do, what we do every day in our trade room is we don't worry about the noise. We just worry about what my three things are, right? My trend, my levels, and my patterns. So as you can see here today, really just following the trend right now, we're definitely bearish here. Opened up right in the middle. Okay, opened up below last week's high. That was obviously good. We definitely started to try to go higher here. Now, again, I'm going to show you another chart here in a moment. You're going to see how we actually gapped up in the overnight and came back down. So I was surprised here when we never even got back to that 106.93. That was a very big clue. And you can see here, it took off to the downside. Finished at the lows, volume at the lows. We closed below the prior week close. We closed below the prior week open. Definitely not bullish. But the big concern today was, first of all, only 93 ticks of range. We still have this analysis paralysis going on right now. We're definitely not getting the maximum potential out of this crude market that we could be getting right now. But when I show you the next chart, though, my question for you right now is this a lookout below? Is this a doomsday scenario here for the crude buyers? Or is this just a pullback in a big upward trajectory? That's the big question right now we have, and I'm going to show you exactly what my plan is for tomorrow by looking to be a buyer here on crude. So hold on tight for that. Clearly bearish with a very narrow range today. We're expecting a much wider range tomorrow, and we see these narrow ranges, of course. Today narrow, tomorrow wider. As I look at this, though, the big important numbers, again, I'm going to say we're bearish right now, but I'm going to show you the bigger chart in just a moment. So a bearish move down today. Here are some key numbers here for you to keep an eye on, though. Prior week high, 106.93. Prior week low, 105.11. Yeah, that's right. You usually don't see crude oil, the previous high and the previous week low, all within one snapshot, right? This is very rare. Very narrow right now. Boy, crude and gold, very, very narrow right now. So we've adapted our strategies, being a little bit more conservative as far as profit targets go. Still going to use the same stuff, right? We never change what we trade, but I'm not going to be expecting to see a 300 tick runner on crude right now, at least not right now. So we adapt to what we're seeing right now, range-bound markets. If you want to get more in-depth information on that, come out and see me in the trade room tomorrow, and I'll talk to you about how we've adapted here to these narrowing ranges on crude. Big, big, big thing down bottom here, though. This unfilled gap at 105.18. So we got in my opinion, four different levels here to really pay attention to. The prior week high, 106.93. Prior week low, 105.11. You got 105.18 and then 104.13. Those are going to be the important levels I'm watching right now. If we keep collapsing, you know where we're going. We're going right back to that prior week low. But hold on real quick, though, because I got more information to give you here, guys, on the rest of these charts here tonight. A bearish move, narrow range on crude. What happened on the Russell today? On the Russell did pretty much the same thing. It jumped up, very bullish at first, and then sure enough, whoops-a-daisy, came right back down and finished right near the lows, volume right near the lows. So this is one of those scenarios where we had a situation that happened here overnight, right? Sunday night, early Monday morning. Remember, this chart only shows the U.S. morning session. So it shows these gaps, right, from the closing price last Friday, right, to the opening price on Monday morning, right? It's not going to show you that Sunday that would be shown on a 24-hour chart. Again, if you want more information about this, come out and see me in the trade room, and I'll walk you right through how and why I use charts just like this. You can see we have a big bullish channel here we've drawn in, right? Pretty amazing how that sets up, even though we don't see all the price action on these charts. So this is a similar situation to what crude's in right now. A bearish move today, but is this a bearish long term, or are we going to be making a run here back to the upside? We'll see what happens here going into the next few charts I show you guys. Another very narrow range today. We talked about this morning for a rebalancing Monday, right? Rebalancing Monday would be the Monday after OPEX, the Monday after quad witching, which was last Friday. That that day after OPEX is usually a pretty active day. Today was a relatively lifeless session. We still were able to make some money out of it, but at the same time, though, it definitely wasn't the typical rebalancing Monday. Volumes were about 15 to 20% lower than average on a 3-month average here according to TradeTheNews.com. So you can see we opened up above the prior week high, closed below the prior week close. Not really much we can worry about right there. I think the big thing I'm looking for tomorrow is what happens tomorrow. We're right down around this low, this channel here. I would think now the buyers start stepping in here and start trying to make those new highs again. But at the same time, though, I'm going to wait here and show you my anchor charts and give you guys strategies for all three of those directions. Opening at the highs, quickly collapses and closes down at the lows. As you can see here, nothing but bearish. Difficult to call this bullish right now, at least for what happened today. So now you know more about what happened there on the mighty mini Russell today. Narrow range, finished at the low. Kind of same thing would happen on Crude today. And then here, talk about narrow range. Is that say 60? Yeah, 60 for the gold. Now, gold had a whole marathon here, right, on the 19th. This was, of course, last Thursday. You got Monday, you get Friday, you get Thursday. Last Thursday, of course, huge gap up. Big run, and if you remember from last week, basically my exact words last week were, we need to get a pullback. And you can see here, we're not getting that pullback yet. So we're still grinding. It's tough to say we're not bullish here right now. We haven't made a lower low. We haven't seen many lower highs here. So we're definitely not bearish. But I'll tell you, it's difficult to call this bullish right now. What's in the way right here? Right? Something's clearly in the way here on gold. Hold on tight. I'll show you guys that on our next chart here this evening. 60 ticks of range on gold. Just a pathetic range here. Opened up pretty much right on top of the prior week close. We did stay below the prior week high. There's a bunch of resistance overhead. So again, hold on tight for that. I'll show you what's keeping this price from jumping higher here. But we did open in the middle, right? We closed near the highs. Very difficult, again, to call this bearish. It's definitely grinding sideways here right now, and this very narrow range tells me this gold market is definitely still suffering from some analysis paralysis. All right? Now you know what happened today. Gold grinding sideways, Russell pulls back, Crude pulls back. We're waiting for some buying opportunities maybe on the Russell, right? Maybe some selling opportunities here on gold if we can get our hands on it. We'll have to wait just a few more moments for that. Let's take a look here now at what we have in store for tomorrow. This is what we always do is we always remind ourselves here what day of the week, what week of the month, what month of the year, what day of the week we got tomorrow. We got Tuesday morning tomorrow, right? Tuesdays are usually that day of the week that, it's not a Monday, it's not a Friday. A Wednesday would be inventory day. A Thursday would be jobless claims or GDP, right? A lot of stuff happening on the rest of the week here. Tuesdays are usually kind of like that, a little bit of forgotten, day of the week here. Kind of a middle of the road. It's definitely not a Wednesday. It's not it's a Tuesday, right? So nothing too crazy about a Tuesday. What is most important, though, right now is the day of the week? Nope, the week of the month. This is the last full week of the month of June, the last week before we start going into, we got summertime trading coming in the month of July, 4th of July weekend, next weekend. So we are just on the cusp here of going into the month of July. End of the month, you're always going to see some good fireworks. Not as good as the beginning of the month. The beginning of the month is usually a little bit more exciting because you've got all the new buyers of crude and gold and all the people coming into the market. But we know the end of the month will typically be filled with fireworks as well. All right. What's my news here for tomorrow? Nothing on the schedule for this evening. Okay, I had a very bullish report today from the existing home sales, by the way. A very, very nice back-to-back, month-over-month expansion there on the housing market. So very, very good there. Moving forward to tomorrow, though, we got 4 a.m., right, in Germany. And then you'll notice, a little bit here and there, right? Not much, though. We get down here to the 9 o'clock hour. 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock tomorrow morning are going to be where your meat and potatoes are going to be, right? That's the good stuff tomorrow morning. So 4 a.m. in Germany, that'll be great for all your European-based traders. If you're trading Asia or Australian markets tonight, not a lot of major news on the calendar for you guys in Asia or in Australia. But of course, tomorrow morning at 4 a.m., we got the IFO survey, and then we head down to the Case-Shiller Home Price Index at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Big Red Star news at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. We had existing home sales today. Tomorrow we have new home sales. Of course, those will be important to see as well. And then we got, of course, always a very popular consumer confidence number. Most important thing I want you to be aware of here for tomorrow is that we had very, very small ranges today. Okay, gold, crude, Russell, pretty much everything was under 100 ticks. So these news events tomorrow, specifically the 4 a.m. event in Germany and the 10 o'clock event in the U.S., those are Red Star news, and so we can expect there to be some pretty good fireworks. And with that narrow range today, we will be looking forward to some much wider ranges on the chart for tomorrow. So be ready at 4 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow morning for the big news of the session. Now that we know what happened today, we know that gold was a pathetic 60 ticks of range today. Now let's jump in here and let's start to put our plan together for what if price goes higher, what if price goes lower, and what if price goes sideways. By the end of this next portion of the newsletter, you are going to be aware of exactly what your plan is going to be for whether price goes higher, price goes lower, or price goes sideways. First of all, here we can see, starting with the daily chart on gold, if you were wondering why these buyers are having a hard time here, well, look at this price action right here. Are you kidding me here? Just completely consolidated. No wonder, right? I mean, we jumped up like a rocket ship, and now you've got what appears to be some analysis paralysis here on the gold. You can see it'd be very easy for us to tumble right back to this 1291 area. It'd be easy to get right back to this area here. So if you're a seller right now, you've got to be looking here for gold. If you're a buyer, well, we got some difficulty on our hands here right now. Lots of resistance overhead. Look at the flat clouds we have on the moving average clouds. Just incredible how balanced this market is right now. We literally spent a few weeks going sideways, then we collapsed, then we jumped back up here, so it's been all over the place here on gold. Definitely a dream come true for a day trader, right? What we need is volatility. But 60 ticks today, though, definitely not going to be enough for us to get that much out of it. So we are definitely hoping for some bigger ranges tomorrow on gold, but this will give you a good look here right off the bat why we're having such a difficult time going higher here on the old gold. Moving forward, this is going to be a lot more of the same information. There's a lot of this stuff on gold right now. We had this big jump up, and so now everything kind of has to catch up to it, right? Moving averages are way down here. I got buy zones down here, right? So like I've been saying for a while now, on gold, we really need price to pull back before we can start being a buyer again. Unless, of course, you've got some magic crystal ball and you can read you can read minds and predict the future. But last time I checked, though, those were out of stock at the local Woolworths right down the street. So we can't exactly get our hands on the future yet. So what we need is, well, here's my 32 anchor. Here's going to be the most accurate information for tomorrow morning. And remember, if you want real-time information as far as what we're doing at that time, come out and see me in the trade room. I follow these charts, these exact same charts. We follow them up and down all day, every day in our trade room, right? We use this as our roadmap, and you can download all these charts and have those ready for you tomorrow as well. As you can see here, once again, big jump up. This is the hardest part about my job right now, is simply waiting for price to pull back so I can then go out and maybe try to buy it one more time. Bottom line, we get a sideways range here. Okay, this sideways range, I'm buying lows, I'm selling highs. If I had to choose what side I would want to trade in, it would definitely be buying the lows. All right, it would definitely be, if I had to choose, right, which direction, it'd be buying at that 1307.1. Let's get ready, though, if price goes higher. If price goes higher, I'm using my wave pattern and I'm buying long. If price goes sideways, I'm buying lows, selling highs, I'm avoiding the middle. What if price goes lower? If price goes lower here, I'm in a position right now here to get short below 1307.1. Okay, so below 1307.1, that will be where we begin looking for a selling opportunity. Now notice I didn't say I'm putting my limit order to sell short right there. No, 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 no. I'm going to wait to get below 1307.1, and then of course I'll look to take my pattern and go lower. If we do go lower, targets below us at 94.5, targets below us at 90 even, 82.4. I have a trend line here, as you can see, that will also be a great target for you as we go lower, as well as a 71.7 to 65.3. So looking at this chart right now, price goes higher, I'm buying. Price goes lower, I'm looking to sell below 1307.1. Price goes sideways, I'm going to use that sideways range between 1322.5 and 1307.1. I'm going to use that sideways range as my guide, buying lows and selling highs with an emphasis on the bull side. If we get below 1307.1, I got targets down below me here. 94.5, 90 even, 82.4, that trend line, and 71.7. So be aware of the scenario here for gold. Definitely still bullish, but again, the best opportunity here would be to get price to pull back here and then be able to buy it right on up, right? That would be the best scenario. So if we do get short here tomorrow below that 1307.1, I'll take my profit at the 94.5, but if it turns around and starts going, now I know it's time to get back on that horse and get to riding again. That was gold futures. Now over to the mighty mini Russell. Again, Russell had a very interesting day today. Had a little gap up over the weekend and then just collapsed, apparently taking the lead from markets like the DAX, the FTSE, right, the CAC. We had somewhat of a bearish session in Europe this morning, and you can see here that's exactly what happened on the Russell as well. Big full-bodied red candle. It basically took back 3 of the past 4 days of ranges. Pretty impressive there, pretty big drop, and it wasn't really that big of a drop at all, right? It was what, 100 and something ticks? You can see here I got support levels waiting for us here down bottom on the anchor. Those are quite a ways away here. That's about 100 and so ticks away down there. But that would be where our next buying opportunity right now would be, at this 67.6, 62.8, 58 even for symmetry, and then 55.9 here for our third buy zone. So right now, Russell pulling back a little bit, but you can see here we got plenty of support waiting for it, and that will definitely help us out here if we're trying to be a buyer on this pullback. Speaking of being a buyer on a pullback, that sounds like a great idea. Here we have a bullish channel. We've made some recent higher highs. If you remember last week, we actually made our profit on this last week by taking our profit up at the highs here. And so now we've been waiting on the price to pull back. As soon as I hit this 75.7, 67 or 62, 57 even, and 55 even, those are my areas I want to be a buyer. Very important. We get a pullback before I start buying anything right now, right? That's always an important thing to remember. So we're not trying to be buying at the highs. I do want to get a pullback. The levels below me that I'm looking for right now to buy at will be 75.7, 67 to 62, 55 to 50.8. Get me on a pullback here, and I'll be a happy camper buying at the lows of the channel, buying at the top of the buy zone, buying into our cloud, right? All signs here pointing to a longer-term bullish trend. But that doesn't help me out as much right now, because here's what I've got happening right now. You can see here we look really good. And if you were in my trading this morning, my exact words this morning were, you can sell short in the short term on the way down, but don't forget about that long-term bullish trend, right? We get all green here on the clouds. We're above all the key moving averages. It did look pretty bearish today. We saw that on the anchor chart, on the VIP chart. But remember what I said earlier. This is beginning to look a little bit like a pullback right before we go higher. So we are in a great spot here right now. Now, here's the deal, guys. Until I get below this 75.4, I can't even start thinking about selling short here, at least not if I want to do it the right way. So right now, I'm green light here to get long. I got 79.5, 77.5, 76 even, 75.4, 72.4. And then if we get long, my target overhead here is at 91 even. All right, very, very simple there. So what if price goes higher? Price goes higher, I'm taking out my wave patterns. I'm buying those waves up to 91 for a good target. That's over 100 ticks. It's actually over 120 ticks. That'll be $1,200 per contract. The next thing is, what if price goes sideways? If price gets chopped up here and goes sideways, we'll have to be careful with that. We saw a little bit of that today on the Russell, among other markets, right? I'm looking at you, gold. But we definitely saw that today a little bit. If it continues tomorrow, we'll stay patient. It needs to be a wide enough range for me to be able to buy the lows and sell the highs. I don't think it's going to be a wide enough range here, but we'll wait and see tomorrow what happens. And then last but not least, if price goes lower. If price tumbles, this is the difference between a professional trader and a retail trader. A professional trader says, nope, 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 nope. I'm not going to be selling until I get through my easy buy zones. We don't worry about forcing those shorts here until we can get through, I would say at least through that 1172.4, right? Why don't we go ahead and say 1171 even, just to be safe. All right. So once we get below 71 even, then I can start looking at selling short. I've got one more level here, 68.1 or 65.6. That's going to be pretty much the line in the sand here. If the buyers don't hold on to that, we are probably going to see this thing catch some offers here and drop pretty significantly, right? So later on this week here, we may see a pretty good run to the downside. We shall see, though. We're not quite there yet. Right now, until I get below this 71 even, buy in the first zone, buy in the symmetry, right? I'm going to buy all this good stuff here. So as we go lower, I'm looking to be a buyer. Yes, I can trade short in the short term, but we know that's going against the trend, and so we know that that's going to be a little bit lower percentage. Just be aware of that, right? Be aware of that. Moving forward here, from the mighty mini Russell to the yawner, right? The yawner from crude oil futures. It was a sleepy one today. I guess it wasn't that sleepy, but comparably speaking to what we're normally seeing on crude, it was a pretty sleepy market. Still getting this analysis paralysis. You can see we went right to that 107.58. We actually came off it just a little bit. It was like 107.46, 107.47. So we didn't quite get all the way up. But as you can see, though, we are right in the thick of things here with that resistance zone. And so we're looking for a pullback here right now on crude so we can start to buy it again. Be nice to get a pullback to 104.28, 103.53, 102.46, 101.82. Right? Be really nice to get a pullback to those areas, because then I can start to be a buyer again here on the crude and be more confident because I know I'm not buying right at the high. As you can see it literally right now as I'm filming this, we continue to move lower here right now. So clearly these bears are definitely in control here still this morning or this afternoon. Moving forward here on the 89 anchor. Now, we've been talking about this for quite some time, haven't we? Unless you've been living under a rock the past few weeks, or maybe you haven't been watching my newsletter, which is very concerning, right? It's like taking your daily vitamins, okay? Get enough sleep. You got to make sure you watch the newsletter every evening. As you can see, though, we have been waiting here patiently since almost 2 weeks ago. Last Wednesday evening into Thursday, we jumped on up. And we've been trading basically sideways here, wasting time for the past few days. We need to get this price to pull back a little bit further. That way we can buy this baby. I've got targets overhead right now at 107.47, 109.17. This was actually a buy target we gave you last week. This time last week, we gave you guys a buy target there at 107.47, and it ended up finally getting that job done. So buy target was about 2 weeks old, but it finally made it all the way up there. So 109.17, 107.47, those are my targets here as we go higher. But again, you know my personality or my point of view. I want price to come back here. At least give me the 104.60, right? It's the least you could do for me here, crude. I want to buy 104.60. I want to buy 104.37, 103.59. And then you'll notice down bottom here, we have a channel down here, right? Knock, knock, opportunity calling. We get a great channel here, 102.50 to 101.84. So a relatively wide range down there. Obviously, we got to get through some support levels first, but that would also be ideal. So right now, we're seeing exactly what we need to see on crude, a pullback here. What we're wondering from today's price action is this a pullback or is this trying to be a full-blown reversal, right? You can see here now, We have broken right on through the first zone, and now here we are, 105.92, 105.38, right, trying to get back below that big long-term moving average. In this scenario, you can see that big, ugly gap up. Now, you shouldn't see gaps on your chart unless it's going to be Friday till Sunday. So that's where Friday left off, and that's where Sunday stepped in, right? So that big gap in the chart. What if price goes higher? What if price goes lower? What if price goes sideways? We had this big jump up over the weekend. It collapsed right back down in, which was very surprising, almost as if these buyers that had propped things up on Sunday night, almost like they got a memo and said, okay, stop buying, we're now bearish now. It was really incredible how that worked this morning, and then just to watch this thing just collapse right back to 106. The patterns are relatively easy, but I think almost everybody in my room today, myself included, we were looking for longs because the bullish trend, because the gap up. So we got a little bit late to the party for those shorts. It really caught me off guard. Didn't expect it at all. Here we go, though. What if price goes higher? Are we still bullish? Yes. We're still above the moving average cloud. We're still above the 105.11, so we are definitely still bullish here on the crude. All I need now is to get some entry patterns with those new higher highs, and we'll take this baby higher. What if price goes sideways? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but this is what we call our BMT, right? The big money trigger line. This is a level that you do not want to get stuck in the mud around. The 200 moving average, right, one of our most important long-term moving averages, definitely going to be something to reckon with, especially if we get slopped up and chopped up around it. So watch closely that longer-term anchor chart moving average going into tomorrow. If we get slopped up on that, we've got to be careful, all right? So we want to be a buyer. If we go sideways here, though, no trades here for me. But the minute we get below that 105.11, I'm going to be looking for an opportunity to get short. Doesn't mean I'm guaranteeing a trade short. It does mean, though, that I'm going to be looking for selling opportunities there below 105.11 on the way down. All right? If I keep going lower, I've got targets below me at 104.56, 104.30, 102.74 as we go lower. As price goes higher, I'm gunning for that 107.49. So right now on crude, still bullish here in the long run. We got the pullback we were waiting for. Now all we need is to get somebody here to light a fuse on these buyers and get these buyers to give us some opportunities here to get back to the buy side. If the buyers don't step in, be careful tomorrow around this 105.39 area. If we get slopped up around this area, be careful. Once we get below the 105.11, then I'm looking good here for my shorts. And I got targets down below me at 104.56, 104.30, 103.54, and 102.74. Those will make for great targets to the downside. That'll do it here for me tonight for our nightly newsletter. Before I let you guys go here for this evening, I want to remind you can download all of my charts that I've gone over today by going right below the video and clicking right there where it says click here to download today's newsletter. Don't forget to join our newsletter mailing list, as well as in the upper left-hand corner, don't forget to join our free pass. I have a special invite for you guys to come out and see me tomorrow morning in the trade room. And while you're on the web, stop over to schooloftrade.com. Don't forget, guys, we have one of the most extensive free trials you will ever get your hands on. Don't take my word for it. All I need is your name and an email address, give you a free trial of our membership, and of course, it's a lifetime membership. You're going to love every single minute of it. We have beginner, we have intermediate, and we have advanced level memberships. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary here at School of Trade. We are so excited to teach you more about what we do as traders. We're very excited to welcome you into our trade room as part of our free trial or as part of our free pass. If you have any questions at all, don't forget to call me here in the office, or you can always find us right with live support on the right-hand side of the page. Signing off now from a very nice and sunny evening here in sunny Los Angeles, California. Once again, happy summer solstice to all you half full type of folks out there, and we'll see you guys same time, same place tomorrow evening. But But don't forget, come out and see me tomorrow in the trade room, whether it be as a member or whether it be as a free pass guest into our trade room tomorrow afternoon. Have a great evening, guys and gals. We'll see you next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.